Welcome back to Wizard Supercoach. Gather round, done and dusted. And I'm going to be honest, I think it was a bit of a fizzler. From a spectacle standpoint, it wasn't too bad, but just in terms of the games themselves, they were pretty underwhelming. And I watched all of them, and they weren't very entertaining. Yeah, let me know in the comments what you thought, but I don't know. This year in the AFL, I'm not as entertained by games as I once was, and I can't help but feel it's the rules are kind of funneling everything into a certain set of outcomes. It's kind of hard to explain, but yeah, I'm not as entertained by it. That's the bottom line. I know there's others out there that feel that way. I've seen comments around the place, but yeah, it's a really hard thing to articulate, I think. Anyway, as for the Supercoach, it was less carnage this week and more just underperforming primos, really. It was the rookies that kind of saved the day. They were pretty good across the board, but in terms of my team, it was another down week. I think I had 6 underperforming primos, which is basically half of what I have. So, yeah, 2,178, which is, it was all right, I guess. I was expecting a much bigger rank slide, but I only went down 52 spots. So rank 152 now. Got to view that, I think, as the great escape because, it could have been a hell of a lot worse, but it's time to get the shit together and start moving up now. I'm about 280 points off first spot. So, I'm not out of it. It's not season over or anything like that, but things do have to start going my way a little bit, I think, if I'm going to be any chance. So we'll have a look through the team, and then there's something I want to discuss after that. So, yeah, as I said, you can see that the primos were mostly underperforming. And in a Guns and Rookies team, which is what I would class mine as, that really hurts because I'm losing that top-end advantage that you play for. Or should I say that I was set up for, so... Yeah, some good cash gen and stuff though, so I think things are looking good in the long term. Now, if you didn't watch my trade video, I traded in Murdoch, which is a little bit of a Supercoach no-no because he didn't play this week, but I know he's going to be back next week or at least the week after, and I'll be getting him anyway. So I really wanted to upgrade, and it was Parrish out for Worrell. Worrell shit the bed, and Parrish went 130, 140, something like that. So it was a hard one to swallow, but... Again, in the long term, I think it'll be fine. Worrell's going to way outscore Parrish. Now, there was another thing to do with that trade, and it was the decision, was I going to get rid of Watkins or Carroll? And I decided to keep Watkins because I like his role better, and it was a major mistake. Carroll actually scored okay, I think maybe 70-odd, and Watkins, as you can see here, didn't even get into the positives until the last quarter. So he is definitely gone this week, and I think I'm just going to bite the bullet and go to Farrow, which is where I should have went originally. But I was half right, so my theory was that Selwood actually scores okay against the better teams. And he did, again, 74, I think is his highest for the year. So that worked out. It was a good choice to hold him, but yeah, Watkins should have gone, not Carroll. Anyway. Whoever it was in the comments, I can't remember, they said that Farrow was good and had good job security and stuff. Yeah, I was wrong. But hey, that's what the game's like. You can't get everything right. I mean, we get most things wrong in this game. Otherwise, we'd all be flying, and we're not. So yeah, from defense, Sinclair was one of the many primos that shit the bed. I don't know, he just didn't look interested or something like that. Was kind of just happy to sit deep, and I don't know what was up with him. Very unlike him. You'd think against Port he'd do a lot better. Maybe he doesn't like wet weather, I don't know. But even before it got wet, like he was just sitting deep. That's all I could tell, really. Just kind of defending and taking kickouts. Didn't really look interested in coming up the ground and getting involved in too many chains or anything, which is unusual. Same can't be said for Ash. He's always hungry for chains, but you take what you get with him. He can turn the ball over and stuff, and started a bit slow, but he picked up well. So I'm sure this would have been a 120 or whatever if his first quarter had been where it should have been. So I'm not worried about him at all. I'm actually not worried about Sinclair either. Like, it's a floor kind of game for him. That's fine. Clark, the 106, so nice return for him. A lot of people were paranoid, and I admit I was too, because he only averages like 75 or something at Adelaide Oval. But yeah, his last quarter was huge, and got to be happy with the 106 from him. And the meme continues where, Clark always scores between 104 and 107. So at least you know what you're going to get with him most of the time. I think those really low scores, the two of them from this year, they are really uncharacteristic. I don't think we'll see many more of those. At least I hope so. So yeah, Worrell also shit the bed. He was playing lockdown on McGovern. He had 9 clangers. That's not going to continue. So yeah, as annoying as it was, again, I have to remember the long game. So he's going to outscore Parrish, no worries, I think, for the rest of the year. And it should still be a top 6 to 8 defender, I think. Sarong was really solid, 75. Another one that started quite slow, but he got into it as the game went on. It's really hard as well on Norwood Oval, because it's a really shitty shape. Like, one side of it, one wing, is basically straight, and it's tiny. I think it's like the smallest regulation oval in Australia. So yeah, I noticed as well the game. Like, this is what also hurt Myers, which I'll get to him later. But teams kind of on there, they kind of just kick long, like just get it deep and try and score. So it kind of cuts out those middlemen guys on the wing, things like that. It kind of is one of the things I was talking about before with the lack of entertainment in the game this year. I've noticed a lot more teams, almost all of them, because of the stand rule, they're just getting it and playing on and just kicking as long as they can to a contest. There's not much build-up or anything anymore. Hawthorn did it really well against the Dogs, but apart from them, just not really seeing it too much. It's boring. It's almost like the AFL's tried to make these, these super attacking games, but when they're all super attacking and it becomes the norm, it's just not, I don't know, it doesn't do anything anymore. It doesn't stand out. So yeah, I'll get on to Lindsay though. That 80 was really good to see. It's kind of unexpected too. I think he got scaled up a fair bit at the end. I really rate him as a player, actually, not just Supercoach, but for a 19-year-old, he looks really, really calm with the ball and stuff. So I think he's got great job security. Looks way ahead of Bo Allen now. So yeah, I'm glad that I picked him in the end, because he was one that I was umming and ahhing on at the start of the year. Oh, also, I should probably say that if my voice sounds funny, I had surgery through the week, and it's kind of messed with my throat and my voice, so that's why. But yeah, Lindsay really good. Now he's -1, so still a fair bit of money to make there. I think he's made 100k already or thereabouts, 90. So yeah, just turn that off. Jake's was managed. Apparently he was sore, and there was all the paranoia that he was going to come in very late, but he obviously didn't. So yeah, that's all good. He's still got a really good break even. He'll come straight back in next week. And then Selwood. So yeah, I thought Selwood would do well. He's a lockdown defender. There was a lot more ball down there playing the Hawks, obviously, than there was going to be in some of those walkovers that the Dogs have had. And they've got a hard run coming up. So Geelong again this week. And then they've got Sydney. Probably doing this the long way, but whatever. And then Fremantle. So they've, the next month for them is going to be pretty hard. So I think Selwood's going to score just fine, and he's going to make a lot more money. He's a really good tackler. He's just a solid defender, really. You need them. They can't all be rebounders. Okay, so now we get to the horrible midfield. I guess following on from the horrible defence, but yeah, Bont just didn't look like himself. The Hawks did really well to stop him. They didn't even tag him. He just had no impact. Turned the ball over a lot. He had a few good plays and stuff, but yeah, he looked mostly off. I don't know what it is about the Hawks. Like, their midfield on paper is weak, but they seem to be really hard to score on in general. Whether that's because their defense is really good and, it's hard to get score assists and things like that, I don't know. But yeah, whatever they're doing, It's good. And because I had the VC on Gorn, and he only went 131, and when I say only, that's because, you know, Gorn's averaging 140. He's absolutely off the charts this year. I didn't know whether to take it because I thought I was having a bad week and I might try and roll the dice. But in the end, sanity prevailed, and I went with the Gorn VC because I couldn't help but think about Nash playing against Bont, and he's tagged him before and absolutely destroyed him. So, yeah, I just wasn't going to go there. But, yeah, hats off to Hawthorn, and hopefully Bont bounces back next week against Geelong. He's probably going to cop like a Mullen tag or something like that. Although maybe not. I don't think Geelong have actually tagged this year, so who knows. Butter's good bounce back, 145. And for all that we've been saying that he's not looking that great, he's still averaging like 123. I guess we expected a bit more with the easier run in the fixture, but yeah, we'll take that, and that's good. He's actually gone up in price, has he? Oh, only this week. So he's off 15k overall, but who cares? You pick him as a keeper. Who gives a shit about the money made off primos? Same with Dacos, a 94. He was playing injured, clearly. He's carrying that calf cork or whatever it is that kept him out the week before. Didn't look 100%, but he'll bounce back. He's fine. Probably go big against Carlton. They don't have Chincotta anymore, so he won't be able to tag him. I don't know if anyone will bother, really. Break even at 133. He should hit that. So if anyone's thinking that they're going to get him like below 600k, good luck. Merritt really good again. He's a bit of a sleeper pick, I think. 127, and I think he only had like 40% CBAs. So second half, Brad Scott thought it would be funny to put him forward. I don't know if it was funny, but yeah, did the unthinkable and took him out the midfield, and he actually did all right up forward. So, yeah, another 127 from him. He's scoring really well. He's only had the one sub-ton, I think, and that's when he got tagged, like a hard tag. Let's have a look. Yeah. Yeah, he's quietly been really good. I don't think he's mentally checked out from Essendon at all. He looks like he's trying, so... He's just got this knack as well of knowing where to be. Like, he cuts handballs off and stuff. He's just a really smart player. The only problem is he was my trade-in for Heaney when Heaney got injured. And I thought, oh no, a hamstring for Heaney and without Goulden. And he's just made a mess of that the last 2 weeks. What's he averaged over the last couple of weeks? Like 170 or something? This one hurts. I want to get him back for sure, but... yeah, he's definitely on the way up. So if I can't get to him this week, which I probably won't be able to, and have to wait a fair while. What did he get last week? 150. Yeah, so he's averaging like 170 over the last 2 weeks. That's insane. Tanner Bruin, really happy with him. Could have even been higher, but he kind of burnt the ball a bit at the start. Also playing on Norwood. It could have been a bit of a problem, but he was excellent. He was everywhere. He's scoring like a primo, really, if you take that one injury game out. The 40-78 against Adelaide where he broke his nose or whatever it was. Yeah, he's definitely scoring like a primo, really. We haven't seen like a high ceiling from him yet, but I think that's because his disposal lets him down a little bit at times. But yeah, there'll be a huge game coming up soon, and he's almost made enough money to consider him a success. And you know what? I think I do already, but just because of the scores he's given us along the way, and he's close enough to 100k now. I saw some people were trading him out this week. I don't know why you would. Like, he's one of the last I'd be trading out, I think. With the way the primos are right now, a lot of them are kind of up and down. And I'm finding a lot of the lines, the positional lines, it's really hard to see who's like a clear top six or whatever. So trading out a guy like Bruin right now is pretty bloody risky, unless you're going up to like, I don't know, a Gorn or a Grundy or something like that. Jagger, everyone's got. He had a quiet game. Who cares? He's fine. Has he still got a good break even though? Let's see. 52. He'll be alright. I think he'll go past that and reset it soon enough. There's still plenty of money to be made there. He's already made heaps, so it could be a play, actually, if you think he's not going to continue this on and he's starting to slow down, because I think his scores overall are declining. Let's have a look. I think it's a downward trend at the moment. Maybe it's a bit of fatigue because he's young. Yeah, you can see here. I don't know if you're watching or listening, but if you're watching, you can see a steady decline in his scoring week by week. So if you wanted an advantage and you think he's going to keep this up, you could hop off him and go somewhere else. And yeah, because everyone owns him, you'd get, if he did continue to score like that. Same as I was talking about with Flanders in the trade video. These guys that everyone owns, if you want an advantage and you think they're going to decline, hop off them early. So yeah, a Smith down to like a Farrow. And then it doesn't leave much money though, I guess. Kind of not worth it. I don't know. I haven't really looked at trades at all. It's only just opened, and to be honest, I was late making this video. It would have been out earlier, but I was watching DR destroy this dude online. I'm not even going to comment. Grill 59, bit of a letdown. He went missing in the second half, big time. He'll be alright though, I think. He's got a good role, all of that stuff. Richmond's got North this week. I'd expect he'll score well. He's still got break even of 14, so yeah, he might be another week or two in the team, but he's already made 100k because he was elevated price, but happy to hold him for now. He's got that DPP. If I get Farrow, I don't know, it might be a way to swing it so I've got a link between them, but I don't see how at the moment because I don't want to get rid of any of these defenders. Anyway, talk about that later. So yeah, I had the loophole on Murdoch who didn't play. Blamires a 79. Blamires as well is another one that's just flown under the radar. For all the talk of, Jagger Smith and that, Blamires is only averaging 3 points, 4 points less. So yeah, he's got that nice half back roll. He's just clean with the ball. He knows, he seems like a guy that just knows his limits. He doesn't try and do too much. I think he's just happy to be there. I don't know. That's the vibe I get. Good player. I'd love to have him at the Crows, to be honest. And then Watkins, obviously. Now, in his defence, I don't know why Carr was leaving him on the bench for so long. First quarter, I think he got about 5 minutes of game time. Like, that's not helping Watkins, and it's certainly not helping the team. You might, if you don't want him out there, pick somebody else and just play them because, I don't know, it's just ridiculous. When you've got St Kilda have their full 5-man bench rotating through, he's putting yourself at a big disadvantage, I think. I don't know if they were saving him as like a pseudo sub or something, but whatever it was, it didn't work. And the umpires would have made sure of that. So it's another thing I'll get to later. And yes, you are going to hear me defend Port, which is a first ever. To the ruck line, so, Old Faithful. Good old Gaundy. Gawn 131. A little low, I expected more, but I thought Essendon did an amazing job of avoiding Gawn. So I talked, I think, last week about how Melbourne set up that everything is funneled through Gawn. They make it so the opposition has to kick down the line to him. They kick down the line to Gawn as well. And he just sits out the back. He doesn't go in and do the forward 50 rucking. Well, Essendon were amazing to their credit because I've been critical of them this year, but they just were patient and just thought, we're going around him. So that kept him down to the 131. His ruck work was still good and stuff. Didn't have it all his own way, though, because I think Peter Wright is actually a little bit underrated, what he can do as a ruckman. So be interesting to see what Essendon does going forward. Are they going to rush Nick Bryan back, or do they just persist with Peter Wright in there for a while and try and develop these key forwards, the young ones that they've got? I don't know, but yeah, hats off to them there. They did well against Gawn. But yeah, 131, I'm happy with that for sure. He can't get 170s every week or whatever. And Grundy, now 124 here doesn't seem that amazing, but it was on Wits. So, Wits was the second most restrictive ruck of last year. And he's certainly over the years been the most restrictive, certainly in the last couple of years, for the big three rucks like Gawn, Grundy, Cherry. So for him to post a 124 on him after Gawn went like a 170 is pretty amazing. Grundy's just, he's so good at using his body in the ruck contest. I've noticed on the throw-ins, like boundary throw-ins, he starts back and then he kind of runs forward and tries to shield the space, but he does it. He'll stop kind of before he gets there or slows down, and then he'll speed, like he predicts the drop of the ball and then he runs into it at pace. Like he's just really, his ruck craft is really good and he's real strong. Witts did alright actually in the hit outs, like kind of split them, I guess, but Grundy just around the contest he's like another midfielder. So it's where he gets a lot of points. Now I just want to say with these two, with Gawn and Grundy this week, coming up, their matchups aren't like great. Melbourne's got Brisbane, so Gawn's going to come up against the Draper and is it Fort? Brisbane are restrictive in the ruck, so Gawn will probably still make a good score of it, but yeah, it's not going to be like a 180 or anything. And Grundy has the Giants, so if it's Madden again, or even if it's Briggs, I think he's going to do well. But if you look at the week after, Grundy's got Bulldogs, so he's going to come up against Emmett, you would think. That's going to be a huge score, I reckon. And Gawn the following night is coming up against Richmond, so he's also going to have a baby ruck. So yeah, got to look forward to next week, round 7, because that's going to be huge for those two. It's just going to be a full vice captain on, who was it? Who was first? Sorry. Vice captain on Grundy into Gawn, 100%. But yeah, I've been eyeing that off for a couple of weeks, and I think if you don't have them, you've got to get them this week if you can, because you do not want to miss that round. Because I could see both of them going near 200 again. Just on that as well, it is so annoying, these injuries. I've said it before, but these injuries to these other players, like English and that, just the early carnage completely took away any advantage I had. All the research and stuff to back these guys in, the Bonts and the Gawns and that from the start, and then allowing everyone to come and get them now when the coast is clear and they worked out, they're actually doing well. It's annoying, but I guess we get them in the long run because of I didn't have to use trades and stuff to do it. So just on that, yeah, 33 trades and 4 boosts left. So definitely playing the long game. Now to the forward line. Sheasel, another 127. He's amazing, but everyone has him, so it doesn't matter. I never talk about him really. Myers a 73. I'm starting to get worried about this pick. I know that he was a fitness test to play last week before the game, so he might be carrying something. But it's the role I'm worried about. The way Geelong are playing is not suiting him. He's still getting like 20 odd disposals, but he's not doesn't seem to be their go-to guy. They used to try and look for him and let him deliver the ball in, but the way they're playing this year is how I said before with other teams. They're kind of just getting it and going long and just kicking long to Neil and Cameron and just hoping for the best. I think they might be a bit spooked. Like last year, they seemed to like to slow the game down and control it because they're not. Gold Coast showed this in the first game. They're not a fast team on the outside. But I think they're spooked by the grand final. They've completely changed the way they play. And yeah, they're trying to play this fast game now. And it certainly doesn't suit Myers because they're just bypassing their half forwards. And it could be put down to playing on Norwood Oval this week. I noticed that like all half forwards and wingers and that were getting bypassed for the long kicks. But yeah, another week of this, and I seriously got to consider getting rid of him, I think. I don't want to be sidewaysing, and I'm sure he'll come good at some point. But yeah, if it's going to go on like this for too long, I can't be having it. Not when there's options like Rochelle and that around that are actually cheaper. So we'll see. But yeah, Myers definitely on notice. Flanders 88. He's doing all right. I don't know if he's going to be top 6, but he's all right for now. I don't see anything obvious to go up to if you were to get rid of Flanders. Maybe Petrarca when he comes back, but That's a fair jump. I think there's about 200 k's difference between them. So let's have a look. I can't spell because I'm typing one-handed. Oh, he's only 570. That's still 140k difference, so it's hard to find at this time of year. I'll have to think about that one. But yeah, I mean, Flanders is doing fine, but again, you can get the jump on the comp if you think he's going to start declining and he's scoring, or he's not going to be top 6 or whatever. But yeah, there's others I think you'd want to get off the ground first. I think Smith is the one that I'd be targeting if you wanted to get an advantage. Cook is 63, so he might only have 1 week left. Break even 41. I'm confident he'll get that against St Kilda. But you know, if he just scrapes over it, like, it's probably time to move him on, I think. But he's done his job. He's made almost 120k, so all good by any metric, I think. And Robertson, this is a bad one. It looked like he did some kind of knee injury. The commentators, who are usually clueless, were mentioning every ligament there is, so who knows what it is, but at least he got an 85 before that. The only thing is everyone's got him again, so makes no difference. Although 13% did have him on the bench, which is interesting. And then Marshall. He played the first half in defence, and he was doing all right, I guess. But I think halfway through the third quarter or something like that, he got sent forward. And I knew that was it. Like, if you've watched him before when he's played forward. And I always rated him as a forward. I thought he was going to be good in the end. But yeah, it's not good for Supercoach scoring for him. It's certainly not in a wet game. So his scoring just completely dried up. I think he only scored a couple of points in the whole time he was forward. So that one hurts because we had Philippou, but really only lost like 20 points, 21 points. Other than that, the rookie roulette was okay. I actually should have fielded Selwood and kept Worrell on the bench, but who was to know? Philippou could have had a big score actually, but what did he kick, like 1 goal 4 or 2 goals 4 or something crazy? I guess you got to forgive him in the wet. And then Lombard a 49, so he's break even a 3. He's alright, he can stay for another week or whatever. And then I have McAndrew in the flex. He looks really good. I feel like he gets underscored sometimes. You look at his stats, and if it was on other certain ruckmen, I think he'd be getting scored a whole lot better. He's still in the minus as well. Minus 19, break even. Yeah, I think we just hold. Just keep on holding him until whatever presents. But his job security is absolutely safe now after Rob's performance last week. I'm not looking at moving him anytime soon. As tempting as it may be, he's made nearly 200k, and you'd think you could actually cash him in for some other rookie ruck, maybe like the Richmond guy or something, and yeah, get in another primo. But he's just too consistent of a scorer right now. A lot to think about though. If you do want to, these are the kind of decisions I think that make and break seasons. Like if you want to jump off these guys early, if you nail the right player, the right primo that you go up to, you can do well. But yeah, you need to be careful because guys like this, he should still make like another 100k or something at least. So yeah, that was the team. I actually find it a little hard to talk. You can probably hear it in my voice, but yeah, I don't respond well to anesthetic, and it's still giving me problems with my throat. And I had tubes and everything down there, so it's not the best for it. But I'll keep pushing on because there's a couple of things I want to talk about. Just watching the Port game tonight, it was the worst umpiring I've seen, I reckon, all year. Possibly as long as I can remember. Just blatantly against Port. Like, in particular for Nas. Like, I think he is the most protected species in the game right now. He's the big story, the AFL, you know, he's the $2 million man, all that. I'm not going to go too far into it, but it's the AFL. I swear, the AFL is so manufactured now. Even just listening to the commentary, it's making me So annoyed. Like every game, you know, if it's a Collingwood game, all you hear is Dacos. If it's a Bulldogs game, all you hear is Darcy, whether they're near the ball or not. And it's so overblown. The way they were talking about Darcy the other night, how unstoppable he is, and he only got like 2 goals. You'd think he'd never lost a one-on-one in his life. It's just, everything's so bloody overblown, and I'm sick of listening to the commentary. But yeah, got on a tangent there, but the umpiring in that Port game, like, you'll never hear me defend Port, but I wanted them to win so bad just because the umpires were so clearly favouring St Kilda. Like, St Kilda players are putting their heads down and running into the Port players and getting frees for it. You only have to breathe near Nas and he'll get a free. Absolutely ridiculous. And one of the umpires is on Sportsbet's payroll. Like, how does that even happen? Whether it's obviously not to do with AFL, but I think he's on there for betting, racing or something like that. I don't know how that happens. That's just a bad look. And then when he's done that tonight, you've got to question it. So yeah, the umpiring this year has been terrible. I don't know if it's because they're changing too many rules or what, but tonight it wasn't the rules. It was just, they were just, blatantly favouring St Kilda. So things like that are really turning me off the game. And then, as I said before, the commentary. I mean, there's a guy that no one's even really talking about too much that's the big up-and-coming forward, and because he plays for North Melbourne, it's Trembath. He's not getting talked about nearly as much as these others. It's just, I mean, I'd say the number one key forward right now in the AFL is Tracy, and he gets so overlooked because he plays for Fremantle. Then you have dumb shits like Damien Barrett saying that they should move the showdown to the MCG. It's just a brain dead take, seriously. The game is still so Vic-centric, and anyone that disagrees with that, I don't give a shit. Like, you are wrong. It is 100% Vic-centric, and less than that, it's all to favour the northern teams now. The other thing that I had an issue with, and it's killing my enjoyment for this game, is champion data. I can't ignore it anymore. They are 100% scoring different players in different ways. I noticed that last week you would get McKercher. He would get a kick in and he'd run out the square and he'd hit a short kick, sideways kick to the pocket, and he'd get 5 points for it. Yet someone like Blamires, only 2 minutes later or earlier, he would get a mark and an effective kick and he'd receive like 2 or 3 points for that. Like, it doesn't make sense. You get the same tonight with Nas. Nas would kick it out in the full, doesn't get a clanger. He actually gains points from kicking it out in the full. Yet if another player, let's say a Watkins, who I think was a little unfairly scored, something like him out near the boundary and he tries to center the ball into the top of the goal square, which is clearly the right thing to do rather than having a shot at goal, and he gets an ineffective kick for it. There was one where he ran out of the pack and he had a kick from on the 50-metre line and he kicked it about as far as the goal square. So you would think it's 40 metres. Got paid an ineffective kick because it went to a contest. Nas did it, the exact same thing, and got paid an effective kick for it. It is just ridiculous. I'm at the point now where I'm absolutely convinced that Supercoach, because the numbers have been declining, I believe, over the years, they're now at the point where they are so worried about engagement that these highly owned players and stuff, and particularly the players that get traded in a particular week, that they will score them differently because they don't want people rage quitting. And you can call me a conspiracy nut, but that's where I'm at. The fact that we're playing a game, and it's probably my own fault for putting in so much time and effort and research into a stupid online fantasy game, but to do that and still not even know how the scoring exactly works because they refuse to release it, it's just a waste of time. I'm deadly serious. I don't think I'll be playing Supercoach next year. I think I'm going to fantasy because the black and white scoring, at least, there's no questions there. The fact that they won't tell us, the only reason I can think of is because they want it. They want to be able to manipulate the scores as they see fit. If they tell us how it works, we can question it. I mean, I'm not the only one that thinks that. I know there's other YouTubers out there that are absolutely convinced of the same kind of thing. We can't all be wrong. We watch most of the people that do YouTube content for Supercoach watch every game, if not most games, every weekend. That is a lot of hours watching footy. You start to pick up on this stuff subconsciously, and then when you really start to pay attention to it, there's no doubting it whatsoever. It is corrupt, like this game. Why was Zach Merritt, this is my last example, and then I'll shut up. Why was Zach Merritt in that game, for most of the game, sitting on a -10 scaling? Scaling's meant to be for impact on the game, right? Then you have Farrow, who's just playing kick to kick in the back 50 there. He did some good things, don't get me wrong, but how is it that his scaling was like +8 for most of the game and Merritt -10? Why is Merritt -10? He didn't at that point, he had no clangers. He'd given away no free kicks. His disposal efficiency was higher than Farrow. I do not understand it whatsoever. If you watched that game yesterday and you think that Farrow had more impact on the game than Merritt, then you have no idea. And I'm not salty because I don't own Farrow. I plan to get him. And, you know, I do plan to get these guys like Nas because they get free points. And there's guys on my own team where I know that they get scaled differently, like Bontempelli, a couple of others. And I think that's bad too. It shouldn't happen. But yeah, even though I'm objectively having a good season and my rank is still good, it's gotten to the point where it's pissing me off too much just watching this happen week on week. It really just makes it feel like it's not worth it putting in the effort to research it, because we're just at the mercy of whatever the hell they want to do in any particular week. And until they release how things are properly scored, people are just going to keep thinking it. So yeah, I think fantasy is the go next year, which means I'm going to have to reset my whole mindset because it's a completely different game. And it's sad, but at this point, I think that's where I'm headed. So yeah, great escape week for me this week, but let me know how you went and what trades and stuff you're thinking of making. Let me know what you think of my conspiracy theories. I was going to put out a video similar last week and I thought I'd hold off, but yeah, after seeing another week of the same shit, I don't care. Like, I don't care if I lose subscribers or whatever. I never did it for that reason. I never made videos to get subscribers. So if you want to dislike or unsubscribe or tell me I'm an idiot, go ahead. I don't give a shit. It just comes down to when there's a game that you love like this, or even the game of AFL, I just get over it, you know. The game itself, the game of AFL is already being eroded away right in front of us. It's not the game I grew up with. It's just a shell of what it was. Everything is so corporate now, and there's a price on everything. It's not a fair competition whatsoever, and the game itself is suffering. More rules, more bullshit. I guess I'll ask one last one as well. How does Tristan Cherry only cop 3 weeks for wiping blood on someone's face? Now that's right there. I know he doesn't have HIV, but how is anyone to know? That's a risk of HIV or something being spread there to McGrath. And then you have someone like Lance Collard, who is an idiot, but he said a word and he cops 10 weeks for saying a word. I'm not defending Collard at all. And I had to trade Cherry out, and I'm not defending him either. Like, I'm saying what Cherry did was far worse. How are the punishments so far apart and swinging in the other direction? Like, what has this game become? Seriously, I'm so over it. The last thing I'll say is that Andrew Dillon needs to be sacked, and Laura Kane can go as well. Absolutely sick of what they've done to this game. And yeah, that's my rant for the week. So looking forward to your comments. I'll see you in the next video.